Welcome to the Grit of the Matter, where we talk about what it takes to grow through life's unexpected challenges. I'm Denise, and this podcast is built on 5 pillars: grace, resilience, intentional, trust, and thrive. These conversations are for inspiration and education only and are not substitute for medical or professional advice. Please consult your qualified provider for your personal needs. If this resonates with you, be sure to like, follow, share, and make sure to turn on those notifications so you never miss an episode. Now, let's get to the grit of the matter.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Grit of the Matter. You guys, I tell you this every time that I am so excited whenever I get these guests to come in because all of the things that I hear, I get to talk to so many wonderful people. So already, this is fairly new for me. So, I have been able to meet with some extraordinary people, and today is no different. So today we are going to be talking to I want to call him a dear friend because I've known him for quite some time and we've had a few chats in the background and things like that. So I'm really excited because he has a true story of resilience and all of the things that go along with it. So one thing that we do in this podcast is we talk about real stories of that resilience and the kind of strength that shows up when life just throws those unexpected challenges to us. So, my guest today is Stephen. I know him as Big Tank. I hope that was okay.
Absolutely fine.
He is a disabled Navy veteran who has survived 3 heart attacks. Make sure I say that correctly. And
That's correct.
including one of those was a Widowmaker, and that was just in December of last year. So, despite all these things he's faced, he has shown that resilience and he continues to keep moving forward. So, welcome in. I'm going to call you Big Tank, but I'll say welcome in, Stephen. So, for our listeners that might be just meeting you for the very first time, tell us a little bit about your journey, what led you to doing what you do, because I know you from Clapper, but I know you do lots of work everywhere else. And then just tell me a little bit about all of your things from all the way from your Navy time all the way through your Widowmaker in December, and you're still kind of in recovery from that, right?
I am still in recovery, but the recovery is going well. My name is Stephen Cook. I don't mind giving my actual name because I'm a self-published author, and if you buy my book, you'll see my name anyway. But on most social media, I am known by Big Tank or just Tank. And I'm sure moving forward that's no problem for the rest of this conversation. I joined the Navy when I was 20. Spent 6 years on active duty and 5 more in reserve. During my active duty time, I spent 2 of those years home ported in Gaeta, Italy. So I was living in Italy for 2 years. I've been to 22 different countries. So my Navy time was quite an adventure. I did get married, but not until after my reserve time even. I got married when I was 35, had 2 daughters. The marriage itself was really, really not good. It was a bad decision. The only good thing that came out of it was that I'm now a father, and consequently a grandfather. I started with my first social media presence was Facebook about 15, 17 years ago. Then I heard about TikTok and I joined a group of friends there, kind of a patriotic group, and I'm a patriot first and foremost. So it seemed like a natural thing for me to join that. But if you're familiar with TikTok, you're constantly getting temporary shutdowns of lives or bans because you can't say certain words, or or you'll get phantom violations of their community guidelines, which they don't ever tell you exactly what it was. So we found Clapper in 2020. I came over to Clapper with this group, but I kind of parted ways with them there. Stuff like that just happens. I have met some truly phenomenal people, but I never really tried growing my account. until sometime in 2023. So maybe July or August, maybe September. And I asked a couple of friends how I could grow. I just wanted to see how well I could grow my account. They told me, and I've been growing ever since. Um, I've been doing Tuesday night lives for almost 5 years on Clapper. Um, a couple of years ago, it kind of morphed into a music/karaoke live, and I still do that every Tuesday. I do a hangout live Friday where friends come in and we just talk about whatever conversation comes up. I don't ever have an agenda for it, so it's just like a hanging out. It'd be like hanging out in the living room if we were all local, but we're not. We're all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a digital hangout. But the thing I'm probably most proud of with what I do on Clapper is I do interviews live on Clapper every Sunday. I've had the pleasure of introducing and interviewing some pretty phenomenal people, which includes you, as you know, Denise. I'm now scheduled out through June 7th, so I still got some pretty phenomenal people lined up in the coming couple of months. And I'm really looking forward to every interview is a learning experience. I learned something about people that are already my friends, and I really enjoy the fact that I can introduce them to the rest of Clapper, to the communities that I am part of, and I really enjoy that. As you know, on Christmas Eve last year, I had a Widowmaker heart attack. It was my third heart attack. And the pain was not as bad as you would think a Widowmaker heart attack should be. And I told Tabby how I was feeling. She called 911, and an ambulance and first responders came, and we got to the hospital, and everything initially checked out normal. My EKG was normal. My blood work came back normal. But when you come in for chest pains, they have to have 2 consecutive normal blood work before they'll send you home. And the second second draw, second check of blood showed I definitely was having a heart attack. But the hospital here where I live does not have a cath lab. So they sent me 100 miles north to the hospital I had initially gone to for my first heart attack and for the stroke that I had that you didn't mention, which is okay. And they had a cath lab. They took me there and on the day after Christmas. So until I got to the cath lab, they had me on a drip for blood thinners to make sure, keep me going until they, found out when I went to the cath lab that my main artery was 99.9% blocked. That's what dictate that artery being blocked is what made this heart attack the Widowmaker. Mm-hmm. And only about 13% of people that have a Widowmaker heart attack survive. So I'm truly blessed to still be here.
Yeah.
On December the 30th, I had quadruple bypass surgery. I was amazed to find that after the first week or so, I had no more chest pain. I would think because of what they do, they open you up. I got a beautiful 12-inch scar on my chest. And then they crack the breastbone and spread them, so they can access the heart and do what they have to do. And I just assumed it would hurt for a while after, but about a week, I was fine. And for that week, I was on pretty good painkillers. So I did 4 days of in hospital rehab. They scheduled me for a month. But what dictates how long you stay is when you can show them that you can care for yourself, get in and out of bed unassisted, in and out of the shower and shower yourself unassisted, use the bathroom unassisted, everything that you would have to do at home. In the hospital, you have to show them that you can do it there. And for me, that took 4 days. I came home on January the 16th, and I started walking every day while I was waiting for cardiac rehab to be approved by the Veterans Administration because I'm a disabled veteran, and they pay for my medical bills, I'm now 15. I've had 15 visits to cardiac rehab. I have 21 more to go, and the first day I exercised, they have a track that goes around the different machines they have from cardiac rehab.
Mm-hmm.
It takes 40 laps around that track to do 1 mile. My first day of exercise, and I did 6, and I was done. As recently as yesterday, I do 60, a mile and a half.
Nice.
Plus, on the days I don't have cardiac rehab, which includes today, I go up to the town square, which is just under a mile to walk the outer sidewalk,
Mm-hmm.
and I walk a mile and a half there. So I do a mile and a half at least every day.
That's
I'm
great.
feeling great. I've lost 55 pounds because I made lifestyle changes that you have to make, which I didn't do after the previous 2 heart attacks or even the stroke.
Yeah.
But the surgery scared the hell out of me. So Tabby did the research and made sure we have heart healthy food for me to eat when I'm at home. And she prepares meals separate from what her and Lizzie eat because they don't have the issues that I do. But I do eat heart healthy. I drink more water than anything. But the biggest change with the eating is that I cut my portion size and the amount of food that I eat at a meal at least in half from what I was eating before my heart attack.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've lost 55 pounds. I'm at my lowest weight since I was like 37.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, I hate that it's, it came from that, but that's a great change though. And you have to feel so much better just from the weight loss. And it probably changes a lot. I mean, with you being a disabled veteran, you probably have some injuries, probably back injuries and things like that.
Yeah.
And that probably helped those things so much more too.
Yeah, my disability is my lower back, and the weight loss has made a difference. And don't get me wrong, I still have back pain. I had back pain when my weight was in the low 200s, which is where I want to get back to.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not nearly as severe as it's been the last couple of years. My weight, I got close to 400 pounds at one point.
Yeah.
Now being under 300 pounds and still losing every week, I'm pretty excited about that.
That's awesome.
I do try not to be preaching to people because I had many bad habits before my heart attack. I did not eat healthy. I didn't exercise. I was as sedentary a person as you'll ever meet. I'm no longer that sedentary person. I do exercise every day. I also have exercises that I can do without leaving the room or leaving the house that I did. I learned them when I was in the hospital doing the 4 days of rehab. I brought the sheet home. It tells me all the different exercises I can do, and I do those as well because it's important. It's being active is a big part of good heart health, and I'm by necessity now. I am a big advocate of good heart health.
Yeah, for sure. And you saying that you don't preach. I don't think that from my perspective, whenever someone goes in a room with you, I've never felt like you've preached about anything like that, but you can tell that you're very much, that is a huge thing for you, right? Is you need to really work on your body because it could kill you, it could kill you. And it's hard to talk about it with that much heart and not feel like you're preaching to people or
Right.
you're doing that. But
and I do reach out. I've got a couple of friends that have had heart issues or heart attacks, and I particularly reach out to those because once you've had a heart attack, I don't care, if you're thinner than me or if you're exercise more than me. Once you've had a heart attack, you're always high risk to have another one.
Yeah.
So I do. There's a couple of friends that I kind of stay on top of them about it. One friend that I encourage to quit smoking. Drinking, should cut back on the drinking. His wife is feeding him healthy food, so at least in that respect, he's doing better.
Yeah.
And he's exercising, which is also really helpful.
And it also adds to extra stuff too. Like, I mean, you said you've had a stroke. So, from what I understand, once you've had a stroke, it's the same way. It's like you're more susceptible to have a stroke if you've had one.
Right.
Um, so I'm sure that it works the same way with the heart attacks and the strokes and things like
Right.
that.
And the kind of stroke I had was a little different. I had a cerebellar stroke. Only about 2% of stroke victims have cerebellar stroke.
Mm-hmm.
But I consider myself fortunate that that's what I had, because that stroke gave me no residual ongoing effects. I
Yeah.
had no paralysis on either side of my body. I had no loss of cognitive function. What I had was extreme dizziness and a lot of nausea and vomiting.
Yeah.
So I'm hyper vigilant about uh, the symptoms of the stroke as well as, a heart attack.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you have a great story, with all of the things that you've done. So I guess what we'll do is we'll just kind of start with your military. And I try to ask this with everybody that I talk to is like, how does it shape you? So when you were in the military, how did that time shape the person that you are today? I know some of these answers. I feel like I know some of these answers because I've known you for a little while, but tell our listeners if there's anything that specifically holds out to you that shaped who you are today.
I would say the biggest thing for me that I brought from the military service is the ability to work with people, and all different people, because no two people are the same.
Mhm.
We all have our own objectives and our own agendas. But when you're in the military, you have to perform as a team.
Yeah.
You have to, whether it's Army or, like in my case, the Navy, you're on a piece of steel out in the middle of the water, and the closest land is straight down.
Yeah.
You have to do the things as a team to keep the ship moving in the direction we're going, to keep it
Mhm.
afloat, to be uh, the well-oiled machine that they need you to be.
Yeah.
More than anything else, that's what I kept from my military time.
Yeah.
Um, Plus the opportunity to go places I would never have been able to see or go to otherwise.
Yeah. So your stroke, you said that it happened a few years ago, right?
Yeah, December of 2021.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah,
And so between that, did I want to see how I want to ask this without sounding insane, but I'm assuming that they all felt differently, right? So
yeah.
you've had a stroke, you've had a heart attack, they give you different symptoms. So in those scenarios, were you thinking the same thing when these things happen? What were you thinking during, if you don't mind talking about it, what were you thinking during these times when you had those different scenarios, especially like the stroke and then the Widowmaker heart attack? Were
Well,
you thinking, "Oh my gosh, what's
I,
going on?"
I recognize the first heart attack was in 2017,
Mhm.
and I recognized the symptoms, but I still didn't think it was a heart attack because initially the pain was lower, and I thought I was just having indigestion,
Mhm.
which is a pretty common thing for heart attack victims. Then that pain went away, and when it came back, it was up in my chest. Um, and my nephew was there with me, so I asked him to take me to the hospital. I
Mhm.
said it's probably nothing, but just to be sure, let's go. And
Mhm.
then I started having the pain radiate to my left armpit, and I started sweating and some of the other symptoms, and I knew I was having a heart attack at that point.
Yeah.
The second one was much milder. I got two stents put in after the first heart attack. The second heart attack was significantly milder, and the VA kept me in the hospital for 3 days, but there was no stents put in or nothing. You just checked me for 3 days, made sure I was okay, and sent me home. The stroke was different, and the first symptom I got was dizziness while I was driving. Fortunately, I was not on a highway, and when I started getting dizzy, I found a place to park right away and
Mhm.
waited for it to pass.
Yeah.
Um, and then, the nausea that came with it. So I went to the ER, and they thought I was having a heart attack. In fact, a cardiologist was in the room with me when I had one of my dizzy spells followed by throwing up. And he
Mhm.
took me to the cath lab and said, "Nope, you didn't have a heart attack." So he sent me home.
Wow.
2 days later, I was out to dinner with Tabby. my daughter Olivia, and Lizzie. And after I got done eating what I was going to eat, I got suddenly very, very dizzy. Probably the worst attack of dizziness I had had to that point. And I asked the manager, and it was a Chinese buffet, or Asian buffet.
Mm-hmm.
I asked the manager for a bucket. I knew I could tell it was coming. He brought me a plastic bag. And I started filling up right there where everybody's sitting there getting their food and eating and stuff. So Tabby and Olivia did their best to get me to the men's room. Somebody else had called 911, and you'll probably laugh at this. While I was in there in the bathroom growing up, Tabby met the EMTs and said he's hard-headed and he's probably going to tell you he doesn't need to go to the hospital. She said, but he needs to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
So they came in. Of course, they said, we need you to go to the emergency room. And I'm like, no, I just went to the emergency room a couple of days ago. They said it wasn't a heart attack. I'll be fine. And they convinced me to go to the hospital. CAT scan showed I had had a stroke.
Wow.
Which was pretty shocking to me. I didn't expect that.
Yeah. Wow. So, your Widowmaker heart attack, I mean, people hear about these, right? They hear about how bad they are. So what is something that you would tell them, like, because in women it's different too, like heart attacks, you feel it in your shoulder. For women, they say that that's a lot that women get, it's like a shoulder plane. I've never had a heart attack, so I don't know, but are there any of the things that you would tell somebody, like if they were saying, oh, I think I might have had a light heart attack or anything like that, would you tell them, what would you tell them to watch for?
First of all, any chest pain, any pain that radiates from the chest to either armpit or down your arms, that is a big warning sign that you may be having a heart attack. The pain, and don't let the level of the pain fool you. Like I said, mine was a Widowmaker. And some people, when they have a Widowmaker, it's a drastic thing and they don't survive. It's a massive heart attack all at once.
Yeah.
So in my case, the pain was not severe. It was uncomfortable. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
What I was told by the surgeon when I met him at the hospital, I ended up staying 22 days. He said if I had gone back home Christmas Eve morning, I probably would have died that day.
Wow.
So,
wow.
I'm thankful that the second blood test showed I was having a heart attack.
Yeah.
And I got sent to the hospital I got sent to because had I come home like we thought we were going to, Christmas Eve would have been my last day.
Wow. So the recoveries are all different too, right? Like your lighter heart attacks, the recovery wasn't as difficult, but I mean, after you have open heart surgery,
after the first heart attack, I did cardiac rehab, same as I'm doing now. And the cardiac rehab, you kind of dictate your own pace. Like I said, I've gone from 6 laps and done to doing 60, which is a mile and a half. Plus, I do my it's called a new step, which is like sort of like a recumbent bike, but a little different. And I do like a mile and a quarter on that between, because I'll walk 40 laps, which is a mile. Then I'll do the new step machine for 20 minutes, which comes to about a mile and a quarter. And then I'll do another 20 laps to give me the 60 laps for the day.
Yeah. Well, now I want to go back to your music stuff. I know that music is a big thing for you, and then y'all do the karaoke things and stuff like that. But did you let music kind of help you through any of the things that you went through? Because like I know, and I'll use me as a scenario because I know that there's certain times in my life, like after my surgeries, when I'm trying to recover, I'll stick my earbuds in and that just kind of consumes me and I let it take me away from the world for whatever I'm doing. Did you do that while you're recovering, or is that just
best way to explain that is I've always said my life has a soundtrack. any song, pretty much you name any song, and I can attach a memory to it. And so yes, music helps. But yes, I, I I love listening to music, especially when I walk, because walking has a rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Music helps me keep that rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, music is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
It's why I really enjoy doing the music and karaoke lives that I do.
Yeah.
Because I am a big, if you've ever seen a movie called Here Comes the Boom with Kevin
Mm-hmm.
James and Henry Winkler has a line,
Love that movie.
Henry Winkler has a line in that movie that without music, life would be a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely agree with that. Without music, life would be a mistake. And
Yeah.
there is always music in my life.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Music has gotten me through a lot of stuff in my time, and I'm not very good with. Somebody could tell me a song and be like, "Do you know who did this? Or do you know who wrote this? Or do you know who sung this?" And I'd be looking at them like, I don't have a clue. It just hits me. So, like, I'll just listen to the tones in the music and that kind of stuff. Um, but I would never remember the name of an artist or the name of a song. But if you let me start listening to it, I'll be like, oh, I do know that.
That's
But I
the,
mean, it does. It just takes me away.
I'm different in that respect. Um, One of the things, like at my cardiac rehab, they play music that ranges from the 50s through the 90s.
Mhm.
And I've made a game out of it. And the game is to try to hear a song in which I either don't recognize the song or don't know who the artist is.
Yeah.
And I've had 15 visits, and I've yet to hear a song I did not know and did not know the artist of.
Yeah. Wow. I would not win that game. That would not be a game that I would win because I'm not good with that at all.
That,
At
that's
all.
one of the reasons I'm pretty good at trivia contests,
Yeah, I'm
conferences,
not
stuff
good at
like
those
that.
either. I think that I feel like I'm pretty good at some things, but stuff like that, the trivias and music, oh my goodness, I'm not good at that. Ask me something fitness and I might be able to tell you the answer, but but don't ask me anything about music or trivia. I might not know that unless it's specific. So, I mean, all the things that you've done, you've just like pushed through. And so that kind of brings me to my next question, which is a question that I ask most of my people is um, moving forward with grit. Of course, it's the grit of the matter. So, and I don't know if you see my acronym back there, but it's grace, resilience, intentional, trust, and thrive. But if you were to put that phrase into something, moving forward with grit, what would you say that meant to you personally?
That means not allowing uh, obstacles to keep me from achieving my goals. Um, the fact is, uh, life's hard. I don't care who you are, how easy it may seem to you sometimes. Um, I'm soon to be 63 years old. I've had a lot of challenges in my life, and the best thing we can do when we have a challenge is to figure out the best way to get through it. You find out uh, what you're made of as a person by how you respond to the challenges that are thrown your way as you live your life. Um, and that's one. So grit, to me, grit is personification of being a determined individual and allowing nothing to stand between me and the goals that I set.
Good answer. I mean, there's no correct answer, but it was a good one. So, I only have a couple more little things. If there's anything that you could tell anybody right now, just that would be listening to this, that maybe no, doesn't matter what kind of journey they're on. You said you're 63 years old, so you've seen a lot of things. So
Yeah.
whether it be just a lifestyle change that you're trying to do, maybe they're going through something personal and they've hit that rock in the road, or whatever, what would you tell them right now that might be able to help them through whatever they're going through?
Understand when you have a significant other or a doctor or somebody in a position of authority to suggest to you that you need to make a lifestyle change, take it serious. Again, this is my fourth cardiac event, 3 heart attacks and a stroke. And the changes that I made this time, I should have made after the first I should have made them before the heart attack happened, but I didn't. And the fact that I'm still here, if you believe in a God or a higher power, then by the grace of God, I'm still here. Because like I said, not everybody survives a Widowmaker heart attack, and I did.
Yeah.
But the surgery, knowing that they cracked open my chest, scared me a lot more than anything else I had experienced. So I finally, took seriously what I was told, and I'm living by it. And truthfully, as I continue to go, I can only see the quality of my life, however much of it I have left, can only get better. I am still here, which means I'm blessed to see my grandchildren, who are 4, 3, and 9 months. I'm blessed to see them grow older. How now? Do I get to see them grow into adults? That's up to me.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do everything I can to make sure my heart stays healthy moving forward, because I really don't want another cardiac event. 4 and 8 years is plenty.
Yeah.
Make it. It sounds like such a harsh thing, making a lifestyle change, but it's, you got to understand, whoever is suggesting it, they're suggesting it for your benefit. When I was getting pushed at rehab in the hospital and in cardiac rehab, they're not pushing me because they get something out of it. They're pushing me because I get something out of it.
Yeah.
And I can't encourage people enough. Make changes that are going to extend your life. If not for yourself, for the people that love you.
Yeah. Yeah. So let us know where they can find you. If anybody is looking for you right now and they say, oh my gosh, I have to get to know this guy, I need to know where he is, you want to tell us where we can find you on any of your social medias?
I have a lot of social media accounts, but the ones, if you really want to find me, would be Facebook and Clapper. And I spend more time on Clapper than anywhere. I discovered how many people truly care about me when I had my heart attack. And so many of my Clapper friends and people I consider Clapper family, so many of them reached out for me, just to say, hey, I know you're having a rough time. Just want you to know, thinking about you, praying for you. Many people, not the least of which is your good friend Jarita. I had several. I've this recliner you see behind me was provided by a Clapper friend.
That's awesome.
I had several friends that wanted to know how they could help. I've had my blood pressure machine, take my blood pressure with, was provided for me. I have a table that opens up to 12 feet wide. That was provided for me. And I've had people that just donated, say, here. I had one friend that gave because they wanted to make sure we could afford bringing in the heart healthy food that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a blessing. It is truly a blessing. And that's why I tell my friends on Clapper, you guys are stuck with me now on Clapper.
Yeah. Yeah. And if anybody wants to see the interviews that you do those go out on YouTube, right?
Yes.
So people
Big
that you
Tank Talk on YouTube is my YouTube channel. Okay. Please, if you find them interesting, subscribe, because I add to them every week. In fact, I just had one post yesterday.
Oh, that's right. They post out on Wednesdays, don't they?
I
Yeah.
interviewed the young woman who provided the recliner, actually, Ankles 2.0.
Nice. Okay. Nice. Nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Like I said, I've
Good.
got some really, really phenomenal people lined up moving forward. I am constantly humbled by the number of people that, when I ask if they'd like to sit down and let me interview them, they're like, "Oh yeah," you
Yeah.
know. They get nervous before the interview, but I'm not somebody that you need to be nervous around. I don't do gotcha interviews. I interview people because I want to present them to
Yeah.
Clapper.
Yeah.
Not even if they already have a lot of followers,
Yeah.
nobody knows everyone on Clapper. Nobody knows everyone on any social media.
That's
So
right.
that's the reason I like to do these, um,
Yeah.
because I learn about them and I present them to Clapper, and I get a lot of satisfaction out of that.
Yeah.
On Clapper, I'm Big Dot Tank. If you do a search, Big Dot Tank, you will find me.
Yeah. That's awesome. So thank you. I mean, I can't thank you enough for coming in here because I know that for a lot of people, it's hard to do interviews. I know how hard it was to do my interview whenever you were probably my first interview, my big one that I thought was really big, other than Montreal. But I was very new at it, and you honestly made me feel so comfortable. So I would always recommend somebody to let you interview them because you just have that personality that you're very relaxed, and um, you don't act like you are judging, right? And that's the best part about it, is finding somebody that doesn't judge you for what you say, and it's kind of hard to find.
I don't judge people, generally speaking. Anyway, it's not my place to do that.
That's right.
We all have our issues, and I'm no different than
That's
anyone else in that respect.
Yeah.
I don't want people judging me, and the best way to make that happen is not make sure I don't judge somebody else for their issues. So I
Yeah.
don't.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. I appreciate so much you being here with me. Is there anything that you would like to leave with them before we take off?
Yeah, there's a quote that I really, really, really like, and I'd like to share it. And I can't remember who did it. Somebody famous, but I can't. I'm getting old. I forget stuff now. Um, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. Um, so if there's something you want to do, whether you're thinking you're too old or too small or too weak, whatever the reason you get in your brain that tells you you can't do that, uh, that's wrong. If you want to do it, put your mind to it, and you'll do it. I really love that quote. I like a lot of quotes that I hear, but that one really sticks with me.
Yeah.
And the best thing to do is just stay positive. Kindness, it doesn't cost you a thing. And a moment of kindness in someone's day could be the difference in their day, could be the difference in whether that person continues on from there or not. You
Yeah.
just don't know, because we don't know what other people are going through.
Yeah.
I really appreciate being invited to do this, to be interviewed by you.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure, 100%. So, guys, remember, he gave you all of his information, gave you all his socials if you want to go check him out. Thank you so much for listening to us today and joining our conversation. Remember, this is your journey, but you do not have to do it alone. With that, I'm going to say, we'll see you next time. See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here today. If this episode encouraged you, please share it, leave a review, and turn on those notifications so we can continue to grow together. Remember, strength isn't about being untouched. It's about choosing who you become in the process. And wherever you are in your journey, you are not in this alone. This is the grit of the matter. So, keep moving forward.